And I have my Frank Sinatra lighter.
Yeah, you do.
You probably can't see this, but it's so cool
Yeah.
that I'm literally going to get up. I'm going to take my headphones off, and I'm going to show them.
It's the old Zippo lighter. Totally cool.
Nathan,
Big old puff of smoke just went in my nose.
remember my first cigar.
Right.
Welcome to the Twerk Ethics Show. You made it. You're here.
You're here.
What? I'm Cooley. Oh. I'm JT. Look at that. Look at there. Hey, if you're enjoying this, just go ahead and subscribe.
Jeremy, you're on this one too.
Wow. Technology.
Gee whiz.
Anyway, hit that like button. Hit that notifications bell. Because we're going to post more than once a week. Yes. And you'll know about it 147 times.
147. How do I get out of here? Let me out.
So,
Let me out!
So Nate, what's up, dude? A little different environment today.
Yeah. We moved out here because the weather is very nice.
It is very nice. What is the weather? It's the last week of February, by the way.
Right.
For,
Just kind of
people
shocking.
watching. Actually, I think it's kind of interesting to say we just filmed episode 8
Yeah.
on Monday.
Right.
It is now Wednesday.
Yep.
We literally, we try to shoot one a week, but we were like, it's the last week of February, and it's going to be high of 72 today.
Yeah.
So we literally just filmed again.
Yeah.
So, hey guys,
Now we're here in the backyard.
smoking stogies. Not a common cigar sound,
No.
but I liked it.
Had to take a wrapper off.
Yeah. So, cheers, my friend.
Yes, sir.
You need a cutter?
Cheers to good weather in the near future.
That's right. I'm smoking the El Huense from Foundation. Yeah, very good cigar.
Is that the Wiseman?
It is.
Nice.
So this is a fantastic cigar.
I've got the Chalet.
And I have my Frank Sinatra lighter.
Yeah, you do.
You probably can't see this, but it's so cool
Yeah.
that I'm literally going to get up. I'm going to take my headphones off, and I'm going to show them.
It's the old Zippo lighter. Totally cool.
Nathan,
Big old puff of smoke just went in my nose.
remember my first cigar.
Right.
It's something you have to say. It's like we smoke cigars all the time,
Yeah.
but if you choke, your buddy that's with you has to say,
Yeah.
I remember my first cigar,
Yeah.
which we got that from Step Brothers, right? When he's
Yeah.
like, I remember my first beer or whatever.
Yep. It's a good quote.
Well, that's the cool part is this noise,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. It's the best. Yeah, this weather ain't bad, bro.
No. I'm just sitting here just taking it all in, listening to the birds.
Right?
It's a good question, though. Let me ask you this. Now that it's the end of February,
Yeah.
72 degrees, we're not out of the woods yet.
No.
It's going to get right back to being cold.
Yep.
But today, let's dream a little bit. So,
Yeah.
what about the springtime and summertime are you dreaming about right now? What can't you wait for?
Oh, the family trip to the beach.
Okay.
We go to Myrtle Beach every year. It's usually like the first week of June,
Okay.
and or right around there, and go deep sea fishing, enjoy the ocean and the food mostly. I'm not gonna lie.
Any good stories from all your beach years?
Well, yeah. There's this, 1 year I went. It's probably about. This was a while back. It's probably about 4 or 5 years ago. We went to the beach and they had rented one of those condos, so we were like high up in the air, you know. Like everybody was down on the beach, and I was kind of like, I had just gotten there,
Right.
because I usually travel by myself, and because I usually have gigs in between, so they go from Saturday to Saturday,
Sure.
and usually I have gigs on those Saturdays, so I'll meet up with them like the day after or something like that, and so I get there, and so I was sleeping in one morning, so everybody's at the beach, and I was like, well, I might as well go down there, obviously.
Sure.
So I wake up and get my swim trunks and go down there, and they have, my brother's in-laws have like these comfortable chairs that you can like recline back and just kind of fall asleep. Well, I fell asleep, and I have pictures of this too, so we're going to share with the people.
Okay.
I was underneath the umbrella, but the way the sun had finished up, it was just, might as well not even be an umbrella there.
Right.
So I was sleeping, and it was kind of overcast, but that's when you get burnt the most.
Right.
And you just don't realize it. So, and then when I went up and took a shower, immediately, when I started drying off with a towel, I was like, uh-oh, this ain't good.
Oh, yeah.
So sure enough, man, I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I am red. Face, chest, stomach, and then I looked down and my, like, the midway from my knees to my waist were just beet red, and all the way down to my toes were just red.
Oh, man.
So we went to like Joe's Crab Shack later that night, and I took a picture with a lobster, and I was basically the same color as the lobster. And I was like, well, the cook did a good job on me. And then my brother's father-in-law, Marlon, proceeded to call me Captain Redlegs for the rest of the trip. So every time I visit them, every year, he's like, oh, it's Captain Redlegs. So now I'm stuck with that name. So
Nice.
wasn't the best trip ever, but we all had a good laugh. I mean, I will say that.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to remember any good beach trips.
you go to the beach every year too, right?
No, I do now.
Oh, you do now.
Yeah, I grew up playing baseball. So every year, my mom and dad, instead of like taking vacation, my whole childhood, I played baseball.
Right.
Right. So my parents would use their vacation from their work to support me playing travel baseball. And, which, by the way, our travel baseball team was called the Lugnuts. And so
Nice.
I want to say that I'm the one that actually came up with the idea. And if I'm not, and someone's watching, either knows that I didn't or is remembering it wrong.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I actually came up with the idea for the shirt. So we were called the Lugnuts, the travel baseball team. And on the back, we were going to the Nationals.
Okay.
So we won the state championship.
Nice.
And then we got into the national championship down in Florida. And so I came up with a shirt, and on the back of the shirt, it said, "These nuts are nationwide." And I was so proud of it because it was like we were the Lugnuts.
Yeah.
I don't know who came up with the name Lugnuts. That wasn't me. But the D's nuts, that was definitely me.
Right.
You know? But then when I got married, Sarah Carter's grandparents have a condo in Perdido Key.
Oh, okay.
And so we go down there every year now, stay like 7 days.
Is that near Pensacola?
It's like right between Pensacola and Orange Beach.
Okay.
It's extremely small.
Yeah.
It's extremely quiet.
Nice.
It's the dream. And I've
Yeah.
started doing that since 2017 when we got married. So it's great, and I literally would do this the rest of my life.
Sure.
But growing up,
Yeah.
we barely ever went anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's funny, you know, how your perspective changes when you get older, because I blame this on my parents. I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm like, we never go anywhere. You know, it's
Right.
like, why do we never get to take vacations? And then you get older and you're like, because your parents are selfless. And they literally
Yeah.
took all their vacation to be able to take you on
Yeah.
your travel baseball.
Right.
Which, I got another story. There's this, our stand-in coach was a friend of mine and teammate back then, Matt Cruz. His dad was named Earl. And you've probably heard a lot of stories about Earl. The one story that I remember, we were playing in the state championship, and our pitcher threw a pitch.
Mm-hmm.
The batter hit it, came up and hit him, I think right in the forehead or something like that. It bounced, so it wasn't like a line drive.
I got you.
But still, just like knocked him out.
Yeah.
And so Earl, he used to have this big old beer gut. I mean, literally just like almost hung him over.
Right.
And he runs out there like Tasmanian devil. And everyone's like, what? And so I'm playing third base. So I get to the mound very quickly.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get there, Earl gets there. And he goes, he's like, you know, asking him these questions like, hey, can you see my fingers and all this other stuff? And the umpire, he looks at Earl. He goes, excuse me, sir, are you a doctor? He goes, no, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
No way.
I had
dude.
never experienced someone using that joke in real time.
Right.
And it was real serious.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, well done. It's extremely well timed.
Wow. In the heat of the moment, too, man.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Way to go, Earl.
So
Way to
Earl
go.
did it. There was some other ones that I probably shouldn't share on here, so I'm not. But
Yeah.
that was pretty funny. But no, yeah, and you know, speaking of baseball, I think that
By the way, I didn't go to the beach with my family either because I had like band camp and all that stuff. Band was busy during the summer too, so I kind of get that, but it's like it wasn't until my brother was married, and then we started going with his family.
Yeah.
So that's how that. So you and I are in the same boat there.
yeah, I think the beach is a middle class luxury,
Sure.
like to be able to go all the time, or
Yeah.
you know, like
Absolutely.
so. I grew up fairly poor, not like poverty,
Right.
but definitely grew up.
Lower middle class.
Yeah, I grew up like where we used the Country Crock butter bowls as Tupperware.
Right.
Did you do this?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and then you'd like
Absolutely.
you'd open up the Country Crock to get some butter to put on your toast, and
Yep.
it would be white rice
All right.
that your mom cooked the night before,
Yeah, which one is it?
or like,
It's a scavenger hunt.
dude, a bottle of shampoo lasts a whole year.
Pour from water.
Yeah, but see, people don't really know how to do that.
Right.
Like they're thinking that you just do it one time. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
The way I was taught was you go till you're about maybe 20% done,
Yeah.
then you put water in. So then you got you're still dealing with a lot of shampoo.
Sure.
And then the next time you go down to like 10%.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, dude.
you make that stuff last. And then I am literally, I was going to say traumatized, but not traumatized, but I am scarred by buying a toothpaste bottle before it's completely gone.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's almost like we had to get a hammer out or a steamroll just to like get the last bit of toothpaste out.
Right.
So I definitely grew up like frugal.
Yeah.
And like I remember my family used to go, and they still do this. They'll go to Jacksonville Beach for the day.
Oh, okay.
They'll just drive down, you know, because they live in southern Georgia, so they drive down an
Right.
hour or so, and they go to the beach and they come back that day. But, that way you don't have to buy anything or anything. But not even that. Like, it's even worse than that. They will wake up at 5 a.m. so they can get to the beach before, I think it's like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m.
Okay.
Maybe it's 8 a.m. But they wake up super early.
Yeah.
So they can save on the parking. And dude, the parking difference is like, if you get there after, let's just say 9 a.m.
Yeah.
If you get there at 9 a.m., parking is $5. If you get there before 9 a.m., parking's $3.50. We're talking $1.50 that my parents would legit get up every single time. We got to get that cheaper parking.
Wow.
It's a mindset though, right? It's like,
sure.
One thing I noticed is that one thing evolved to the other thing. So it's like the way my parents would argue this, and I think they're right, but I think the way they would argue this is like, yeah, but that $1.50 here and this dollar here, and not buying a new bottle of shampoo here, not buying Tupperware here, all that adds up. This frugality was sort of a mindset, but then my parents got to a point where they didn't need to be frugal.
Yeah.
But you ain't ever getting rid of that.
Right.
It's a legit mindset.
Yeah.
And so I say that the beach is kind of a middle class thing because like people that don't live the middle or upper class lifestyle, there's like this mindset of frugality that, by the way, since I grew up in it, I just majorly respect it. But it's like the thought of going to the beach for 7 days and like the hotel and the food. I mean, that's a rich man's game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it adds up for sure. Yep. Because I've seen, went back and saw some of those prices that they get it for or whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, that wasn't our vacation.
No. Well,
that's for sure.
The condo that we stay in is so nice, dude. Like the one that my in-laws have. Well, my grandparents-in-law, I guess is what you would say.
Yep.
It's so nice, man. There's like 2 bedrooms, two bathrooms.
Is it like a high-rise or something?
Yeah. Kitchen, dining room, living room, and then a massive balcony, patio or whatever. So,
nice.
Well, so I know I think you grew up very similarly to me in terms of like, money. Do you have any memories of like what your parents made you do to be frugal? Like I said, mine was the country crock butter bowl.
Yeah.
And the shampoo.
Yeah. No, I definitely did the shampoo thing.
Yeah.
Put water in it and made it last longer for sure. You know what? My parents still do that actually.
Oh, I don't think you get out of that mindset once you've lived it that long.
Right.
Because I lived it in my childhood. They lived it as adults.
Yeah.
I think that's way harder to get rid of.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of true.
So,
yeah, I think they still do that. And by the way, my dad still uses the same shampoo he did when I was a kid. Head and Shoulders.
You know how last episode I was talking about my dad stole my Matchbox 20?
Yeah.
He also stole my cologne.
Oh, really?
I used to, and my body wash, now that I'm thinking about this.
Oh, wow.
When I was a teenager, I used Clinique Happy for Men. You ever heard of that?
I think so.
I used Clinique Happy for Men when I was a teenager.
Okay. I never used it, though.
My dad loved it. So, my dad took it.
The cologne?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then when I got older, I started using Old Spice.
Yeah.
Body wash. Well, my dad loved it. So my dad took it.
Wait, what kind of Old Spice?
I have no idea.
Did you do the Swagger?
I don't know.
I did the Swagger for a second, but now I use Fiji.
I use some stuff that my brother got me for Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't remember the brand name, but it has like really funny names. Like this one I'm using right now says it smells like naval diplomacy. It's like this man body wash that smells really, really good.
It's not Axe, is it?
No. It's something. It's like It's a company that it's not
Okay, yeah.
not well known.
Right. Now, I don't know. I've heard this before, and tell me if you heard this before. Your taste buds change every 7 years.
I've heard that.
Now,
I have no way to test that.
I don't know if that works the same way as smell.
Your smell waves,
Yeah,
smell buds.
smell buds. Or just like, that used to smell good, but now I don't like it anymore.
Right.
So I don't know if that's a thing or not. But I know the taste buds thing is a thing.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'd buy it.
Yeah. Because when I was a kid, I used to eat peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches. And now that disgusts me more than anything.
To be honest with you, I don't want mayonnaise. Anything.
You don't like mayonnaise
Did I tell you the other day when I went to, no, gosh, I have like 1,000 Burger King stories. You notice this?
Yeah, you do.
Yet I still go.
Yeah.
Well, the other night, me and Sarah Carter were in an argument. And, it was a silly argument.
Right.
And I told her, I was like, we have this rule, like we don't leave during an argument unless the other one gives us like permission.
Right.
And I was like, I need to cool off. You mind if I just go drive around? And she's like, yeah, I don't care. So I was like, I'm going to go to Burger King. I'm hungry. I'm going to go to Burger King. So I drive to Burger King. And if you're listening to this podcast, you already know I get a number one, only ketchup, mustard, and cheese.
Right.
And the reason that, you should know that is that one story where I said that and the lady replied with, is that a number two, no mayo?
Right.
And it's like, literally didn't say any of those words.
Yeah.
Except maybe number.
Right.
And so I went to the Burger King down the street, and it's probably like 9 at night. And I ordered number one, only ketchup, mustard, and cheese. And so I got it, and I went to the Kohl's parking lot down the street.
Oh, yeah.
To just eat it by myself like a sad little boy. So I got my number one, only ketchup, mustard, and cheese. Went down to the Kohl's down the street, and I ate it by myself like a sad little boy who just got in an argument with his wife.
Nice.
And they put nothing but mayonnaise. And I hate mayonnaise. And I just had this massive, just gargantuan bite
Regurgitation
of mayonnaise. And so I proceeded to open the door and throw up in the Kohl's parking lot. And I was so upset, I called Sarah Carter, and I was like, I'm sorry. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, too. And I was like, I just ate mayonnaise and threw up in the Kohl's parking lot. And she goes, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. Because she knows, like, how much I hate mayonnaise.
Right.
So don't fight with your wife.
Right.
You're going to choke on mayonnaise.
Yep.
Just kidding. You should, my personal opinion, you should fight with your wife. Just do it well. Use your boundaries.
Right. Exactly.
You should communicate well in your marriage. Is extremely important.
Also, fighting with your wife and all that stuff. That's how the story of Die Hard came about.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me.
The writer of Die Hard had a fight with his wife, and but Die Hard had already been written, but it was a different title, and it was about throwing. I think it was like throwing a woman off of the building or something like that, and she falls to her death instead of Hans Gruber. But instead of that, he's like, I just had a fight with my wife, and I was like, so I went in my car and I just went driving, and all of a sudden on the interstate, there's a refrigerator box in my lane, cars next to me, and he was like, well, I'm going to go through it. Either this box is going to be empty or it's something bad's going to happen. So he went through it, and he was like, thankfully, it was empty. And he was like, immediately, he was like, that's what Die Hard needs to be about. It needs to be about a husband and wife fighting, and they're just not communicating. And he goes like to visit her and just like kind of patch things up, because he was like, and then, Hans Gruber and his boys show up, and he was like, what if I never see my wife again? Which which that guy was thinking in his car before he hit the refrigerator box. He was
Yeah.
like, what if I never see her again? And we ended it with a fight. And so that's basically what Die Hard was all about. And so I was like, wow, that is that's pretty deep, actually.
Yeah. I actually heard a story.
By the way, Die Hard, one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's fantastic.
And that's how I start my holiday season.
Yeah, it's like a little teaser into Christmas.
My first,
Dude,
my first movie I watched.
it's funny. It's actually a movement online right now. And I think it started this year. Like if you look up Die Hard as a Christmas movie, hashtag.
It's listed, right?
Dude, millions.
Yeah.
And so I just want to let you know that you're not alone. I know at first you were like,
Good.
You're one of the first people I ever heard say that.
Yeah.
But just know there's a ton of people who agree with you.
Yeah.
And now I agree with you. I have to say that, I mean, you taught me a lot, man. You introduced me to Sinatra. Well, let me rephrase that. You introduced me to the broader catalog of Sinatra.
Oh, yeah.
Like, of course, I mean, come on. I knew who Sinatra was from a very young age.
For sure.
Because he's extremely popular.
Yeah. Right.
But when we started smoking cigars, so I started smoking cigars before you were immediately interested in cigars.
Yeah.
And do you remember the first time that me and you smoked cigars together? You probably remember it
I think
a
so.
little better than me.
Was it at Allie's house?
Yeah, I think it was the Allie's and Katie's and Whitney's.
Yeah. Yeah, and we didn't even go to like a real cigar store. We went to like it was a beverage place, and they just had that little glass encasing of cigars.
Oh yeah.
And we just got one out of there.
Which is complete trash. But like,
but it was a good entrance for me, to go in.
I can't reach the Yeah, but I more so want to know, like, this is the part I don't remember. How did that happen? Like, was I smoking and you were like, yo, dude, I've always wanted to smoke? Or like, how did that part happen?
I either saw you smoke or you talk about it. I think I saw you first.
Okay.
Smoke it. And
somehow you asked, like, hey, dude, I want to smoke cigars. Can
you teach me?
Can you teach me, or something like that?
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, it was almost like, because we were, at that point, we had crossed the barrier of being really good friends.
Right.
And it was like we talked about last episode, it's almost like your kid says, Dad, what are those? And you say, oh, son, those are bagel bites.
Yeah.
Let's go to Publix.
Right.
It's like you were like we're already good friends. And you're like, hey, man, I want to smoke cigars. I'm like, oh, my God. Here we go. So we went down to just the local package store.
Yeah.
And they just have a small casing like you were talking about. And I taught you. And, dude, I love it because you were hooked from minute one.
Yeah.
You were hooked. And you had a natural. And you were like, hey, man, I know this is kind of weird, but I've always wanted to say this movie quote with a cigar in my mouth.
That's right.
What movie is it from?
It was a Gene Hackman movie.
Oh, I love Gene Hackman.
Because he smokes cigars all the time. But yeah, it was, I think it was Superman 4, which is, the last one that Christopher Reeve did.
Sure.
Which is like, kind of like an oddball one anyway. But, so he was talking about his new invention, his Superman.
Yeah.
That he had like developed from the sun.
Yeah.
So he was like a nuclear man or whatever.
Sure.
and his nephew Lenny was with him, and Lenny was a drummer. And so I was just like totally adapting, and I was like, oh, Lenny's a drummer, that's cool, so am I, But you never heard him play in the movie, obviously. But Lenny was asking about the super guy because he lost all his powers when he got into the shade.
Yeah.
And he was like, Lenny, my loudmouth nephew, because he was asking why that happened. He was like, he gets his power from the sun. Without it, he's like you at night. Useless. And I thought that was just so awesome. I was like, That is cool. And then later on in the 90s, Crimson Tide came out with him and Denzel Washington. Gene Hackman again. And he gave Denzel a cigar because he did good on something. He was just like, here you go. And then he was like, how's that cigar? He's like, it's good, sir. It's your first, isn't it? And Denzel starts choking up. He's like, yes, sir. It is. He's like, don't get used to them. They're more expensive than drugs. So
It's great.
But I was just like, man, that's kind of, because I love Gene Hackman too. He's just such a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he was just a boss with a cigar in his mouth. You know?
For sure.
So,
well, I remember that, and I remember you being interested, and as soon as we got back, he wanted to quote that, which
absolutely,
to me was so funny because I can relate. I mean, people in movies with cigars, it's just really cool, and I've always so I got into cigars because of my granddad.
Right.
So my granddad is he's a multimillionaire, but you would never know it because, like, when he would visit us, he would have on Umbro shorts, a tank top, a straw hat,
living ghetto fabulous.
yeah, and like just a good old cigar.
Yeah.
So picture it: Umbros, tank top, straw hat, cigar, maybe some flip flops.
And he would chew on his cigars half the time, right?
Yeah, he would chew. And then what's funny is one of my earlier memories of him, and it's still to this day, I believe, he loves the Braves.
Right.
And so he would always get a big old Fuente Churchill, and he would put it in his mouth, and then he'd fall asleep. So he just... and it would rest on his stomach.
Right.
And he'd just nap. And he'd wake up.
That's amazing.
He'd cut it and light it and start smoking it. I've always said a cigar is perfect because it forces you for an hour and a half, depending on the size.
Yeah.
Forces you to slow down.
Yeah.
And have a conversation.
Yep.
I would challenge you to sit down with a good friend or an okay friend with a cigar.
Yeah.
And not have an unbelievable conversation.
Sure.
I mean, these things, I don't know what it is. They just bring out some of the most incredible conversations I've ever had with Brandon Fiddler.
Oh yeah.
Over a cigar.
Yeah.
Bobby Dobbins.
Yep.
Jared Poff. Cody Dahl.
Yeah.
You name them. Ryan Rodriguez.
Yep.
Just
Nathan Cooley.
Who is Nathan?
Nathan
oh my
Cooley.
God. I forgot you.
Right.
Except I didn't because we're doing it now. This is the best conversation we've ever had. And it's live.
Yes, sir.
And I feel like we're in New York right now. There's sirens.
Right.
And you know what? But we're not editing it out.
No.
This is real life, people. You ever been outside? It's noisy.
It's what happens.
So, all that to say, the thing that I'm dreaming about with this nice weather is, go figure, baseball.
Football. Oh.
Dude, I love football though. Don't like when the fall.
It's too early for football though.
I'm just gonna touch it right now, just a little bit.
Yeah.
When it's that fall, crisp weather, and you get to, oh my gosh,
whip out that grill.
Saturday morning.
Come on.
That's some good football.
Right? And somebody's really, really injured right now.
Yeah.
This is not good. They found me.
They found you.
I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty!
It's Brad.
It's Brad.
We probably shouldn't yell like we do when we're outside. My neighbors would be like, the hell?
Brad!
Yeah.
Brad! Oh, Brad done did it again. Yeah, you better run.
I hope they arrest Brad.
Brad, you better run, bro. Brad.
Dude, if that's the UPS truck and they're delivering my laptop, I'm going to be stoked.
Oh, yeah, what are you getting?
So this is a hot topic.
Yeah.
But I think we should do it.
Uh-huh.
I really do think we should talk about it. I'm like nervous. I'm like, I'm nervous to talk about it, but this is something that I think people don't talk about enough.
Okay.
I'm leaving PC. Even though we're recording right now with the PC, today they are
Politically correct?
I don't know if I'll ever leave politically correct. On the podcast, sure, we'll be as politically correct as we know how to be.
Yeah, sure.
In real life, you out of luck.
Nope.
So, no, today UPS is delivering a Mac. I'm going
to this house?
To this house. Now, I want to defend myself.
Okay.
And feel free to disagree with me if you do disagree with me, but I have never been anti-Apple. I've just been pro.
I haven't either.
Other things, like
sure.
And I think I had my reasons for Windows, and I'm not trashing Windows, and I'm not saying Windows is awful. I'm saying I'm leaving PC and I'm going to Mac because I'm doing more artistic stuff.
Yep.
Pro Tools, Final Cut, video editing, music editing, photography.
Producing and stuff. Yeah.
I think that world, it's really great for creating.
Sure.
And not to mention, the laptop I got is maybe the fastest laptop that's ever existed, ever. It's the new M1 technology. So they're leaving the Intel processor and they're going to literally their own integrated stuff that they invented. And I watched all these benchmarks and stuff on YouTube, and like, this laptop, dude, is supposed to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to get it today, and I'm stoked. So
nice.
Yeah, that was actually hard for me to say. Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to say. I think it's because you do have to say, I'm leaving PC and going to Mac. It's not like, hey, I think today I'm going to get a Mac instead of that. It's a big swap.
Yeah.
But I do feel good about saying it, and I don't feel any regrets.
Yeah.
I'm going Mac. But for the phone, sticking with Android right now.
Yeah.
iPhone, you're going to have to show me a little bit more.
Right.
Before I switch.
Yeah,
Not saying I won't, but you got to show me a little bit more before I switch. But PC, see ya.
Yeah.
PC ya.
What?
PC ya.
Bye, politically correct.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but you're a tech savvy dude anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So.
To a fault sometimes, but yeah.
To a fault. But that's okay. I think.
Sorry, I was just laughing. It's like during Miami Dolphins practice, if Tua does something wrong, and they just say, to a fault. It's like, dude, what the heck? And it's like,
man, it's to a fault.
It's to a fault. Anyway. Dad joke brain just never stops.
Plus, I can't say his last name, so.
Yeah.
Tag me in, you. Something like that. I don't know.
I remember my first cigar. By the way, shout out to Lajero Tobacco House.
Yeah.
The best cigar shop in the land.
Our boys.
Adam, you rock. Shout out to Ken, Chuck, Nate.
Yep.
Other Nate. Mafia Joe.
Yep.
Malcolm.
Yep.
Romano. Who am I leaving out?
Dominican Dave.
Yep.
And
Adam. We already said Adam.
Right. AJ.
And if we missed you, man.
Adam's wife.
Vanessa. Yeah.
Al.
Oh, Little Al. Yes. Al.
Shout out to you, buddy.
You're our Monday and Tuesday friend.
Yes.
When it comes to Wednesday, sorry.
Yeah.
We're there for Adam.
Screw you, bro.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Al.
But if you ever go up to the lounge and you run into Ken, Malcolm, Nate, Mafia Joe, Dominican Dave, Chuck, tell them we sent you.
Yes, absolutely.
So you were saying I'm tech savvy.
Yeah, you're tech savvy. So I think anything new that's, the fastest on the market or the best on the market, you're going to buy it because you're that guy.
That's a good point.
And
that is why I left.
Yeah.
Is because I honestly think that Apple just changed the game.
Yeah.
With the M1.
Right.
And
plus you're doing a lot stuff with music and this stuff,
Oh yeah.
podcasts. So it's like Mac was basically created for people like us.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we just didn't know it at the time.
Well,
but
and
we've learned over the years.
I'm a fan of the truth. A lot of people want to be right.
Sure.
We've learned this in this political mess that we went through.
Yeah.
A lot of people just want to be right.
Right.
And I'm not interested in being right. I'm interested in the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep things objective. And I'm honestly flattered that you said that, because that's actually what I take pride in.
Sure.
It's like, I don't care if you're Apple. I don't care if you're Microsoft.
Right.
I don't care if you're some new thing I've never heard of.
Yeah.
If you're the truth, I'm coming after you.
Sure.
If you're the best, I want it.
Yeah.
And right now, I consider what Apple just released to be untouchable,
Yeah.
at least for now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've left it. And by the way, it's not that you're not tech savvy. Like, compared to a lot of people, you are tech savvy. I mean,
in some certain aspects,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
but you're not.
But if I have a problem, I'm coming to you.
You coming to me.
You're gonna know that stuff.
But see, I guess what I'm doing is I'm comparing you to my wife, because my wife is tech savvy in the sense that she's younger than me, and so she's going to naturally pick up things pretty quickly. But
Yeah.
dude,
It's like my niece and nephew.
when she has a problem, she comes running, and ain't no troubleshooting that's happened. And I had to train her. I'm just like, hey, listen, like, can you just do a few things? Like, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, power it on, or power it off, power it
Right.
back on.
Reboot.
You know,
As
and
the Canadians say, when in doubt, reboot.
when I do reboot.
Richie, we forgot to mention you. Thanks for the cigar, by the way. Right down.
That's the cigar.
Nice. So that's another guy that we regularly see there.
Yeah, Richie's a good dude.
Yep, for sure.
And if we forgot to mention you from the lounge, man, don't take it personal. It's just a memory thing.
Yeah.
Or you're not that great of a person.
Plus, we already mentioned like 45 people that go there. So,
But can I look?
try this one.
So funny when me and you talk. It reminds me of my grandfather-in-law. The way he talks is like opening new tabs in Google Chrome. It's like he'll talk, and then he opens up one, and he opens up another, and he opens up another, and he opens up another, and you're like, man, I hope he closes all those tabs, because I'm lost.
Right.
And so sometimes me and you do that when we're talking.
Yeah.
But I guess we're still sharp enough in the brain to bring it back. And by the way, so is he, which is impressive. Like, he'll open up 35 new tabs of conversation, but he'll shut them all.
Oh,
It's
wow.
kind of impressive.
Yeah, that is impressive. All right. So he doesn't. It's like, why is my internet slow? Because you got 45 tabs open.
Good to go? What you think?
Good.
How's that one?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad?
No.
We're going to smoke a lot of cigars today, if you consider this and the lounge.
Yeah, true. And it's Double Stamp Wednesday.
It's Double Stamp Wednesday.
Double Stamp Wednesday.
Yep. So, bringing it back to Sinatra.
Okay.
See, I did not forget.
Right.
So, the reason I'm into Sinatra is after you got really into cigars, you would always play Sinatra while we were smoking them
Set the mood.
to add like a cool factor to it.
Yep.
And here's the thing. I always felt like Sinatra is the way that you can cheat and listen to Christmas music year round. Cause like I love older school Christmas music, like
Sure.
the Bing Crosby and the, Rosemary Clooney and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra.
Right.
But Sinatra is that style.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, he's listening to Christmas music, but it's not Christmas music.
Right.
And so but here's what was awesome with you is like you knew all these different albums. You're like, hey, this is Sinatra and strings. This album's good. I'm like, man, this dude knows Sinatra albums. This dude is pretty cool. And then you're just like,
God, strings album is so good.
Yeah, and you're like, hey, Songs for Swingin' Lovers is a really good album, and like, then you introduced me to my favorite album of all time, which is Sinatra at the Sands. Which, by the way,
oh yeah,
I have a mug.
Oh snap!
Yep. Let's see if we can.
Look at that. Look at that. Close that tab.
Yep. So, my father-in-law actually got me this Sands Casino coffee mug that was actually made in the same year that album was recorded. You want to talk about a thoughtful gift? Pretty thoughtful.
Heck yeah, dude. That's awesome.
But I always thought you were cool because you weren't just putting like the best of Sinatra on. Like you actually knew like a ton of Sinatra. And so literally every single time we smoked cigars, you played Sinatra.
Yeah.
And so you know what?
It's like you. That's how I discovered him. It was through Christmas music.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So when I was a kid, you know, you could listen to anybody at Christmas time. You know, you didn't have like a certain genre you had to listen to or whatever. But Frank was always on the radio, and I was just like, man, this is kind of awesome. Even when I was a kid, I thought it was cool.
Let me get sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Can you give me the butane?
Yeah. So even as a kid, I thought Sinatra was awesome.
Right.
So, because I was like, man, it's Christmas music, and he's got a band behind him, and it's so cool. And, you know, because I loved, you know, my parents grew up on Chicago, and so they listen to a lot of that.
That Christmas album, get out of here.
Yeah, so good, man.
That is just freaking amazing.
Yeah. And I bought that album like kind of blind because I didn't know how it was. I mean, I was just like, well, Chicago, they're going to have some good tunes on there.
Yeah.
But it turns out the whole album was
fantastic.
Awesome. So I was like, all right, sweet.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. But that's how I discovered, you know, Frank or whatever. And
but you know what? I think they're equally valuable deliverables that we gave each other.
Yeah.
I literally gave you cigars.
True.
And you literally gave me Sinatra.
And they go hand in hand.
Oh my gosh.
Very well.
Yeah. Even though he didn't smoke cigars.
Right.
Today he would have that.
He was a cigarette guy, right?
Yeah, but not today. Today, you know good and well today that dude is smoking cigars.
Oh, for sure.
You know, he's smoking Padrones.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
Daniel Marshall's.
These boxes, very good cigars. New World, AJ, Foundation of the Tabernacle, and Padron 1926. Goodness.
Yep.
Don't get me started on a Padron. Gosh.
Dude, they're so good. And they're worth every penny.
Yeah.
Because 1926, they're a little pricey.
Yeah. By the way,
but they need to be.
You want to impress anybody with a cigar and you don't know anything about cigars, buy them a Padron. Like if you want to buy something for your uncle that smokes, or your dad, or your friend JT or Cooley, and you don't know what to do, just buy a Padron. Any kind. Yep. Although I prefer 1964.
64s are good.
Or the El Presidente.
Is that the one in the box?
Yeah. Padron's the way to go. Just saying. So yeah, thanks for giving me Sinatra.
Thanks for the cigars.
You're welcome.
And they work, like I said, they work hand in hand.
Yeah.
So, but a little less frank these days because we're inside of a lounge and we smoke with everybody, so we can't really hear.
Yeah.
But if we do smoke on our own, we definitely pull out some Frank.
Yes, we absolutely do.
So,
and the other thing that I wanted to continue that I dream about with this weather is, of course, baseball. And
which is right around the corner, by the way.
Oh my God! And I actually don't think they're postponing it. I think it's going to happen on time. But last night,
right, beginning of April, right?
Yeah, I do this thing about a month or two before every baseball season. Now, I watch a ton of vintage games.
Yeah,
which sucked last year because I had already watched all the vintage games, and they're like, "Oh, it's okay. With no baseball, you can watch all the vintage games." I'm like, Jeremy's already done it.
Right.
This is something I already do to get pumped up for the season.
Exactly.
But anyway,
And then they push back the season.
Yeah.
Thank you, COVID, for running all our days.
2020. So I last night I was doing like what I normally do every night and watching some sort of vintage
Which one did you
baseball.
watch last night?
Well, so I've been watching the All-Star games. Like I'll just type in like 95
Through the
All-Star
years?
game, and
Nice.
that's, to me, it's I remember those more. Like I know all the players.
Right.
So last night though, I actually did not even search this. It was in my recommended,
Yeah.
it was the game. It was the Cardinals versus the Cubs, and it was the game that Mark McGwire hit 62 home runs and beat the Roger Maris 61 record. And you reminded me the Maris family was there,
Right.
in attendance.
Yep.
And here's the thing: I obviously had a Mark McGwire poster in my bedroom.
He
and
was the man.
I love McGwire, but dude, you have to remember, I was a kid. I did not understand the significance of what he did.
Right.
And I watched that last night.
He and Sammy.
Yeah.
That
So if
year.
you want to watch it, look it up. Scroll to like, I think it's like maybe 57 minutes, 58 minutes.
Bless you.
Wow. Scroll to like 57, 58 minutes into the game and you'll see him do it. And it's so cool because like McGwire hits it and it barely goes over. You remember? It's like a foot over the.
There's a line drive.
Yeah. Barely goes over.
Yeah.
And the announcer goes, he did it. He did it. He did it.
Yeah.
He did it. He did it. He said it like
yeah.
1,000 times.
That's right.
Was, and that, man,
I don't remember who the announcer was.
Chip Carey was one of them.
First pitch, rocket deep toward left. He did it. 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 In St. Louis.
Yeah, so he used to be for the Cubs. Now he's for the Braves.
Right.
Yeah, but Chip Carey was calling that game.
Nice.
And I got
Yeah.
chills because I'm like, these announcers are such baseball fans.
Sure.
And they knew how to tell the audience what was happening.
Yeah.
And McGwire,
And it was such a big build up all year anyway.
yeah.
Between the two of them. So who was going to get there first was the big thing.
Even at the beginning, they were talking about like, we all know that McGuire's going to get it before Sosa. They said it
Right, yeah.
in the game.
He was always in the lead. Yeah.
And but what was funny is not only were they excited, McGwire lost his mind. He lost his mind, man. He was so pumped. And he said, or he went to run around first and he went to give a double high five to the first base and he missed the bag. Do you remember this?
That's right, yeah. He had
Yeah.
to go back. Yeah.
And dude, they shut the game down.
Yeah.
I mean, literally for like 5 straight minutes.
Yeah.
And
It was a huge record, man.
listen to this. The first baseman, and when I say listen to this, you probably do remember this,
Yeah.
but I didn't. So I'm going to say it like you don't remember it. He hugged the first baseman
Yeah.
for the Cubs. The second baseman,
Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second baseman hugged him. The third baseman hugged him. And the shortstop hugged him.
Yeah.
Like as he went around, they were so happy for him.
Yeah.
And then the catcher hugged him.
That's cool.
And he went, and then he went and hugged the Maris family.
Yeah.
And it was just like such a passing the torch moment.
For sure.
And they respected it so much. And then he gets on the microphone.
I'm getting hyped just hearing
Dude,
about this.
then he gets on the microphone and he's like, I just want to thank everybody. This one's for St. Louis, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
He goes, and you know what? Chicago Cubs, Sammy Sosa, unbelievable. He
Yeah.
just gives a shout out to Sammy, the guy he's in direct competition with.
Right.
And then you see Sammy Sosa sprint from the outfield,
Yeah.
runs all the way through the field, and they go hug each other.
Yeah.
And then Mark McGwire does the Sosa thing, the whole thing. He does it to Sammy, and I it's like 11:30 at night,
Yeah.
and I'm like, do I film this and just send it to Nathan? Because I'm so high. I was so hyped.
Yeah, dude.
When I saw it, I'm like,
Absolutely.
that is what they mean when they say bigger than baseball.
Yeah.
That moment
For sure.
was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Do you remember any other details?
Because it's one of those records that was not meant to be broken anytime soon.
No.
and they didn't know who was going to do it and how they were going to do it. And it's just one of those monumental things. It's like Cal Ripken. Who is going to beat those games in a row? What was it, 2,100?
I don't even know.
It was over 2,100.
I'll put it down below.
Yeah.
I don't.
And it's like, who's going to beat that? It's like, who is going to beat that anytime soon? I don't think anybody.
No.
I would be surprised if somebody did it in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Maybe the next. Who knows? But yeah, it's just one of those monumental records that it's kind of like Mickey Mantle's hitting streak.
Yes.
You know.
Are you talking about Joe DiMaggio?
Or Joe DiMaggio. Yeah. What was it? 50?
No, it's either 56 or 65.
Yeah, I think it was 56.
56, maybe. Yeah.
And then.
What the hell?
Right. And after that, he goes on another hitting streak. And it was like, I think it was it's like 75-1 or something like that. And then went on another 20-game hitting streak.
The one that's easy to forget is like Ted Williams batting 400.
Lifetime, right?
No. I think it's just that one season.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
He batted 400.
But still.
So I watched that game. Roger Maris had 61 home runs.
Yep.
In a season, by the way. Then Mark McGwire hit 62 in that game that we watched.
Yep.
But then Mark McGwire extends that to 70.
70.
Which led me to go to yet another YouTube video where Barry Bonds breaks it. Yeah. And I don't know if you remember this, but this dude got 71 and 72 in the same game. Do you remember this?
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, he gets 70. I watched the one. There's a video called Barry Bonds home runs 70 through 73. So you watch the first one where he ties Mark McGwire,
right.
which that alone is like, all right, here you go.
Yeah.
But then they show the game where he hits the 71st to be the home run king.
Right.
And, dude, just destroys the ball.
Yeah.
Just destroys it.
I bet.
And again, they do the whole thing that they did with Mark McGwire where they, like, gave him his due respect and, shut the game down, blah, 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 blah. Dude comes up again and hits another one in the same game to make it 72. And then against the Dodgers after that, he hits the 73rd. Yeah. And I think that's the record still, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
73 home runs.
Yeah. Yep. Nobody gets close anymore.
No.
Like maybe, well, how many did Aaron Judge have? Didn't he have like 50 or something like that?
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
I think they get close to Roger Maris.
Sure. Yeah, man. That season, 98 for sure. That home run race, man. It was baseball at its finest. Son of a... What? Mother...
You're using the school bus bleep as cuss word censor? I love it. So Nathan, goes without saying, this has been my favorite episode yet.
What's that? I can't see you.
Always here to break up a serious moment.
Man, I do that, don't I?
It's honestly one of the best qualities about this podcast, though.
That's
like
true.
We can go into serious and out and in and out. And,
Yeah. By the way, I said doo-doo.
Yeah.
I do that.
You do, but at the same time, what people might not see on camera all the time is you can get there.
Sure.
I'm a lot more exhausting because I can go real serious at any point.
Yeah.
Like people can be like, man, it sure is a beautiful day outside, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, did you know that in 1960, the sun did not come out at all for 3 days, or what? I'm just making something up.
Right.
Yeah. I can go deep and people are like Chuck gives me a hard time at the lounge. He's like, dang, Jeremy, I don't think we were wanting to go that deep right now. But then he'll joke and be like, I'm just kidding, man. I love that you bring that to the table. But I think that's the dynamic of me and you is that
For sure.
like you are constantly tugging me out of serious, and
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Well, I mean, I can do that too, but like I can also go dive back in with you on serious stuff too as well. It just depends on what we're talking about. But
That's part of your shock value, though.
that's true.
That's what makes it funny. But I will say this is probably my favorite episode, just because we got to do something that we love so much, which is be in 72-degree weather
Yeah.
and smoke cigars. I mean,
It's been nice.
we're not going to be able to smoke cigars on every episode, but my God,
No, we live in Georgia. It rains a lot here.
Smoking cigars so much. It just brings me so much happiness. So this has been, if we could do this every episode, I absolutely would do it.
It would be
If
amazing.
we could do it inside, it'd be even cooler. But I'm not ready for divorce.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.